about which reeds I use for which saxophones, it's a weird thing. It's kind of like when you get two people in London that both are Spanish and living in London, and suddenly it's like they hit it off immediately because they speak the same language. When you get two saxophonists meeting for the first time, it's a matter of moments before you start, you know, talking about mouthpieces and reeds. It's another language. It's a bit of a cult thing. Reed, importantly, that I've got on here is a rather manky, I think it's Rico Jazz Select 3 Soft filed. I'm going to be honest, I'm not entirely sure I can tell the difference between filed and unfiled. So I just get the filed ones because it sounds like I'm getting more for my money. Something else has happened to it. Do love a bargain. One of my pupils once asked me, so I had a brand new student, and I was showing her how to put it all together, and she was like, "Is that blood?" Which is on the reed here. I'm like, no, it's just red lipstick from last night's gig. Yeah, a bit of a penchant for red lips. Anywho. So yeah, so first I want to quickly tell you what I play on for each instrument. So as I said, I've generally settled with the alto on Rico Jazz Select 3 Soft. On the tenor, I've got a Jody Jazz 7-star metal mouthpiece, and I play on the, horribly expensive, what is it called? Come back to that. On the Barry, I play, because I like to be as loud as possible on the Barry, I've got, I think 8 or 9, I'll get the Barry out for a video soon, 8 or 9 by Jody Jazz as well, metal mouthpiece, really nice and loud. I only play funk on the Barry. Every now and then I'll do a big band gig, but either way it's good to have it nice and loud. I don't do any kind of classical playing on it, or any quartet player or anything like that. So my main goal with the Barry, as quite a little person, is to just make it as loud as possible. So on that I've got quite a soft reed. I have, I think maybe as soft as 2.5, and it's a Vanderin Jazz, which come up a little softer as well. Actually, if you're in sax.co.uk or Haworth's or somewhere, you know, pretty much any music shop, they have these little cards that have kind of a timeline of which reeds come up at which strength, so you can see that, let's say, like a normal Vanderin traditional 3 is probably more like the equivalent of a jazz, Vanderin Jazz 3.5, so they come up much really differently. So a 2.5 jazz on the Barry is actually really soft, and that's what I play on. And then for the soprano, I play on the traditionals, and I've got a Selma Soloist C-star or a mouthpiece on there. And that's just, basically I don't really like the soprano very much. I just find the sound of it quite abrasive, so my goal is to make it kind of as fluty as possible, more towards the woodier side. So I play right up on a 4, Vanderin traditional, which come up a little harder anyway, 4, and I find that helps me with the tuning as well. So yeah, basically when you start, you tend to start on a 1.5, really easy to get a sound out of, but the sound tends to be quite in your face, brassy, loud, and quite difficult to control because it's to do with the thickness of the wood. So 1.5 is going to be really thin bit of wood, which means it's got a lot of flexibility. So the tiniest movement in your embouchure, and you've made it flat or sharp, or even moved within a note, you know, it will really reveal everything. I remember just going into Sax.co.uk and picking up loads of singles. But yeah, you want to remember that they're all slightly different, hence why you end up with this drawer full of reeds that you don't use, which I'm going to go on to in a minute. So yeah, so some will come up softer than others, so you want kind of 3 of each type for you to try out and see what suits you best, and it's going to depend on your mouthpiece, the kind of sound you want to produce, and what you find sits best with you. You find it easy enough to get the notes out, the tuning's good, especially in your top register, that's what you're going to be looking at. Can you get the bottom register out easily enough on those reeds? That's the kind of thing you're looking for. Unfortunately, I don't think, I might have recommended Reeds Direct to to buy reeds before. I don't think they do singles. You have to go to a shop to actually buy singles, but you know, it's old school, it's quite nice. It's like going to the post office. It just feels a bit like something from the 90s. So yeah, go into your music shop, your local music shop, and pick up a load of different ones. I went through a phase, I was really into the Java green box for a while on the alto. Don't know why I particularly went off them. I think I just found these Jazz Selects a little bit more reliable throughout the box. So with the Java green box, I would end up only using half of it and then chucking the rest in my drawer. In my drawer of reeds. I don't know why I keep them all. It just seems like a thing you should do. It seems like such a waste to throw them. Which is why my reeds are always covered in lipstick and really grey and disgusting. It's because once I get one that I like, I'm not giving it up anytime soon. I really want to stick with it. If it gets to the point where I'm on a gig and I'm not being very organised and this reed is finally dead, it just suddenly gets to a point where it's kind of, it's soggy at all times. So I can keep it going a little bit longer when it's soggy. So, you know, you've only been playing it for 10 minutes and it's already kind of letting out some things you don't want it to, letting out some saliva. So if I've taken my ligature off, and I take the tapered end, the thinner end, and I'm just pushing it into the flat section of my mouthpiece, and just kind of trying to get some of that residue out. This one is letting off some steam actually, so it's pretty much game over. I reckon I've got one more or two more gigs on this and then I'm going to have to find another one. So that's a good way of getting it to go for another kind of couple of gigs when it's getting to that point where it's kind of game over. Or let's say you've got to the gig, you found that your reed is game over, or you caught it on something and broken it, and then it turns out all that you've got left in the box are those ones that you don't want to use. That's really annoying when that happens. That you can use them and get them to a point where they're a bit more playable. They don't seem to last as long, but I found a little cheeky method of kind of softening it up a little bit if it's a bit hard. So I tend to label mine, so this one's got a little H on it, which I've just written on the back in pencil. When I'm trying out my reeds to decide which one I want to stick with, I'll put S for soft, and actually the soft ones I might avoid for a lot of gigs because they're quite hard to control and, like I say, quite brassy. So I'll probably, you know, use them on a poppy gig when I want to be really loud. Not something like jazz where I want it to be quite elegant and controlled. And then M are kind of my favourites, and then this one's got an H on it for hard. So soft, medium, hard. And the hard ones are the ones that I tend to avoid at all costs. Although, you know, maybe I'll use it for practice or something like that to build up my embouchure strength. So let's say I've only ended up with, I've not been very organised and bought a new box, and I've only ended up with hards left, or I'm being really stingy and just want to keep it going, and used right to the end of that box. That I found a little cheeky method to soften this up a bit, although I've just realised I don't have the tool that I need. I'll be back. I'm back. And so is Beatrix. Say hello, Beatrix. Hello, I'm so cute. Oh, you're so angry with me, aren't you? No, she doesn't want to be in the video. Okay. So I went to go get my recap, and also Lavol's tenor reeds that I use. They're beautiful. They do seem to be noticeably more expensive, though. I don't know if that's just me. I've convinced myself that they're beautiful because I like things that are expensive. I've got here my metal cap, which I don't think actually goes with this mouthpiece, but picked it up from somewhere. It needs to be metal, so if you don't have, there's something cylindrical and metal, maybe like a hairspray can or deodorant can or something like that. And I've just put my hard reed that I don't really want to use against the table. In fact, let me just give you a quick play on this so you can see the difference first. You don't have to work so hard, you don't have to sort of tune in quite so hard on the intonation, it sort of does it for you. But if I was to try and use this one and I just wanted to soften it up a little bit, I've just put it flat against the surface. I've got my metal spherical thing, not spherical, cylindrical. And I'm just going to go with the grain and push. can hear a huge amount of difference. Hopefully you can, but I feel the difference. So yeah, it's suddenly that little bit softer. It took a couple of seconds. I quite like that now, actually. I might keep that one on there. The other one is probably game over, really, isn't it? And somehow they don't seem to last as long, but at least you've got it going for the gig or whatever you're on, or just to use it up. Useful. Again, if there's anything else you want me to discuss that I've learned on my journey and career so far, related to reeds or anything else actually, then write a little comment and I will endeavour to do so. And if this video has been useful, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so you get some more sax chat from me. And if you're interested in where I'm playing and what I'm doing and what I'm up to, then do follow me on Twitter, and I'll put a link to that in the description box, as well as a link to sax.co.uk and where I buy my reeds from. And yeah, I think that's all for now, folks. So see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!